Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a top-down tour of the absolute most complex, mysterious, and downright impressive organ in your entire body. We are focusing heavily on the mechanics of it all, specifically exactly how your three main brain regions work together to make you, well, you. So let's jump right in with a pretty wild question. How exactly does your body keep you alive when your conscious mind is completely powered down? Think about it. When you're dead to the world, just deeply asleep, your lungs keep pulling in air and your heart keeps pumping blood. Who is actually running the show? Well, the answer lies right here. Because your brain, it acts as the ultimate command center. It isn't just some static hard drive storing your childhood memories. It's an incredibly active processing hub. It's constantly taking in information from your environment, processing that data in fractions of a second, and firing off instructions to coordinate literally every single thing your body does, whether you're choosing to do it or not.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the ultimate control center. Second, the forebrain, thinking and doing. Third, the midbrain, your fast reflexes. Fourth, the hindbrain, balance and survival. And finally, voluntary versus involuntary actions.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the ultimate control center. Before we meet the different departments inside, think about how this delicate command center is actually protected. There are literal layers of defense moving inward to protect your brain from injury. First, you've got the skull, or the cranium, acting as a hard, bony vault. But, hard bone against a soft brain would be a complete disaster if you bumped your head. So right under that, we have Step 2, 3 protective membranes called the meninges wrapping the brain. And finally, Step 3, bathing that whole setup is the cerebrospinal fluid. This fluid acts as a crucial shock absorber, cushioning the brain so it basically floats safely inside your head. How cool is that? Moving right along to Section 2, Forebrain, thinking and doing. So let's meet the executive branch, the forebrain. This region handles the heavy lifting for all of your conscious, higher-level mental functions. We're talking about the core of the human experience here. Thinking, intelligence, memory, learning, decision-making, feeling emotions, formulating speech, it is all happening right here. It's also the area that receives sensory information from your eyes, ears, and skin and actually directs your voluntary movements. To put that into perspective, right now, as you're processing my words, learning this information, and deciding to keep watching this explainer, your forebrain is putting in the work. Every single time you try to recall a friend's name or you sit down to solve a complicated math problem, that's your cerebrum firing up inside the forebrain. It really is the center of your conscious universe. Okay, Section 3, midbrain, your fast reflexes. Now we're moving geographically down to the midbrain. Think of this as your rapid response middleman. It physically connects the forebrain above it to the hindbrain below it. But it isn't just a passive cable, right? It's a highly active processing center for fast reactions. It manages nerve impulses and instantly processes specific sensory information, mainly your visual and auditory reflexes, without you having to dedicate any conscious thought to it whatsoever. It coordinates your eye and head movements in a split second. Let's say a super bright light suddenly flashes right in front of your face. You instinctively blink or turn your head, right? You didn't consciously pause and say to yourself, "Oh, wow, that's bright. I should probably close my eyelids." Nope. That lightning-fast reflex totally bypassed your deep thinking and was managed entirely by your midbrain to protect your eyes. Which brings us to Section 4, hindbrain, balance and survival. Let's see how this all builds into the lower section. The hindbrain is actually broken down into 3 really fascinating parts. First up is the cerebellum. While your forebrain might be the one deciding you want to walk across the room, it's your cerebellum making sure you don't actually trip and fall on your face while doing it. It maintains your body balance, your posture, and coordinates your muscle movements with total precision. So whether you're riding a bicycle, dancing to a beat, or swinging a cricket bat, it's the cerebellum ensuring your movements are smooth and graceful, rather than jerky and chaotic. Sitting right next door to the cerebellum is the pons, and fun fact here, Pons literally translates from Latin as bridge, which hits the nail on the head because it acts as a literal bridge, transferring critical messages between different brain regions. But it's also got its own distinct jobs, like helping to regulate your breathing cycle, assisting in your sleep patterns, and controlling your facial movements. And finally, we hit the lowest part of the brainstem, the medulla oblongata. This incredible little structure is the exact answer to our opening question. It controls the vital, involuntary activities that just happen automatically, entirely without our conscious effort. It manages your heartbeat, your breathing, your blood pressure, swallowing, even your coughing and sneezing reflexes. It is the whole reason your heart keeps beating and your lungs keep pulling in oxygen while you are sound asleep. All right, our final section, Part 5, Voluntary versus Involuntary Actions. Now that we've mapped out the geography, we can see the perfect division of labor in your command center. On one side, we have voluntary actions, things you actually choose to do, writing, talking, eating. These are driven from the top down, mainly controlled by that massive forebrain. On the flip side, we have involuntary actions, things that just happen automatically, like your heartbeat, digestion, and breathing. These are your ultimate survival mechanisms, running quietly in the background at the bottom of your brain, mainly controlled by the medulla oblongata. So, just to quickly recap how these three brain regions function together as one unified machine. The forebrain, which houses the cerebrum, sits at the top as the largest part, handling your complex thoughts, memory, and intelligence. The midbrain is tucked right below it, acting as an instant relay center for visual and auditory reflexes. And the hindbrain anchors the bottom, using the cerebellum, pons, and medulla to maintain your physical balance and run the involuntary systems that literally keep you alive. I want to leave you with a thought as we wrap up this explainer. Right now, your forebrain is firing on all cylinders to encode the memory of everything we discovered. Your midbrain was helping your eyes track along, and your hindbrain, it kept your heart beating the entire time. Think about that for a second. You just used your brain to learn about your brain in real time. It truly is the ultimate command center, leaving us to wonder, what else might it be capable of?